Well, thank you for tuning into this session. I'm really excited today to walk through what I think is the most exciting performance channel available online right now, and also the most underrated. So today we're going to walk through YouTube for e-commerce, how to skyrocket your Q4 with this highly scalable and very, very underrated channel. So let's just dive right into it. What I'm going to talk about today is, first of all, go over a little bit about who we are just very quickly so you get a sense of where the expertise comes from. I want to walk through why YouTube is such a valuable channel and why it's something that a lot of people leave on the table. Then I'm going to step through why many brands fail on YouTube. We hear all the time that YouTube doesn't work for us. We can't do it. This works for other brands, but it doesn't work for us. I'm going to tell you why that's probably not true, but why you might think that. Then I'm going to walk you through a quick case study of a brand that we were able to bring up from about 80K a month in revenue to a little over $1 million a month in revenue on YouTube. Then tell you how to apply those learnings to your Q4 prep starting from today to make sure that you're able to actually get everything done. So let's dive right into it. I'm a self-taught marketer. I fell into this. I was in a band. It's touring around the world. Need to figure out how to make money. And once I did that, I fell into Mute 6, really, really honed my craft on Google Ads. Obviously, YouTube is a part of that platform, and just found some really immediate success on the platform. Using YouTube, I was able to scale a couple of brands 10x in about 9 months of being there. And then since leaving Mute 6, I've been able to scale my agency very quickly. So I have a pretty good lateral view of what's going on in the ecosystem, and I've seen a lot of different kinds of accounts and how they scale, and definitely have an overall unified sense of okay, what is working for everyone on these platforms, and how can you replicate that in your business? Some of the clients we've worked with, so ranging from 6-figure e-commerce brands to 8-figure Shopify Plus brands. So why should you run YouTube? There's a lot of advantages to this platform, and I want to show it with this visual. This is the actual ad unit from one of the more recent Dr. Squatch videos. And you can see here, this video has 161 million views, which is a really incredible amount of view time for a soap brand. This is literally just soap. But what they've done is they've absolutely mastered the craft of providing value, entertaining people, and educating people on this very, very cheap channel. And it's allowed them to scale way past where they would have been able to, were they just running Facebook or regular YouTube. So that's the first advantage. It is massively scalable. There are so many eyeballs on this channel, and they're not being really guided very well. And there's not as many advertisers on YouTube as there are on Facebook, because it's a little bit more difficult to start off. So what that means is that it significantly lowers CPMs and cost per views. You can get people's attention for 6 to 9 cents a view, an engaged view, compared to on Facebook, where you're really going to be paying at least $1 per click. Another really significant advantage is that you are speaking to an engaged niche audience. People come to this platform to learn something specific, and in particular to learn something specific about their interests, about a subset of their interests. They're coming to learn about movies or grooming or hair care, so you have an audience that's already leaning in and it's already receptive to information. Whereas the main challenge on Facebook is to get people to pay any attention at all, to stop the scroll. Here, people are already paying attention. You just need to give them something interesting. There's pretty robust targeting on YouTube. Google has a lot of audiences. Google has all the data in the world, and they've built some quite sophisticated audiences. And because you're getting so much scale, there's very effective machine learning. The algorithm does learn very aggressively. So you can, once you start seeing performance, you can really dial it up. It feels, to actually buy media on the platform, feels a little bit like the early days of Facebook. All in all, that makes it a exceptionally cost-effective platform for advertisers, and somewhere that you have leverage. So in my book, anywhere where there's leverage really needs to be looked into. Many, many brands come to us and they say, YouTube doesn't work for us. We tried it. We spent $3,000 on the platform. We spent $5,000 on the platform. This channel doesn't work. And the first thing I say to them is, what kind of creative did you run? Every single time someone says to me, oh yeah, we just put up some stuff that we were running on Facebook and it didn't really work. It's like 30 seconds. And immediately, like the problem is very, very clear. And I want to demonstrate this to you with this graph, which is, these are not real numbers, but I think it illustrates the point very well. So down here, we have campaign quality. How good is your campaign? How good is the copy? How good is the images? How engaging is the campaign? And then up here, we have conversions. How many conversions are you driving? And on Facebook, if you run a kind of fine campaign, you'll get a proportionately less amount of conversions, but it'll still work. You'll still drive revenue. You'll just be here. You're saying, oh, my CPAs are really high. It's costing me $200 to get a new customer. It's because it's still kind of working, but not amazingly. On YouTube, you'll get nothing. It'll just flatline and you'll get a 0. And so what happens is a lot of people build campaigns that are kind of medium quality, and then they wonder why they don't work. And it's because you have to really reach this threshold of campaign quality in order for any conversions to occur. And then after that, you start to see massive scale. So many advertisers fail right around here, where they've done about 40% of the things that they need to do in order to get the platform to work. And they just don't know what to do next in order to get it going. So what I want to do over the next few slides, over the next 15 minutes, is show you how to get to here, show you what the top 10% of YouTube advertisers are doing. It's allowing them to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, if not millions of dollars a month, on the platform on direct response conversions that drive revenue. So let's do it. You have to follow the rules. The rules are the rules. I didn't make the rules, but you have to follow them. The first one is, I have never seen a YouTube video scale without a face talking to the camera. I've never seen it. I don't know if it's possible. If you think about what the platform is like, it's a medium for people looking into the camera and sharing stories and sharing personal experience and teaching. And so there's something about having a face on screen speaking to the camera that really resonates and starts working right away. This doesn't make it work immediately, but it's very difficult to scale without this. And here's an example from Mudwater. This is it's an LA brand, I think, and they've scaled very, very quickly on the platform. You can see they posted this video on June 10th, and it's got 2.5 million views already, all paid views. So you know that this ad is scaling, and this is a good example of a high-performing ad. So I'll show you just the first few seconds. I'm going to show just a few clips from things. So I'll show you just the first 10 seconds of this so you can get a sense of how they look. Okay, you get the idea. So there's a face, there's a strong hook, there's a swear word, which snaps your attention out. They do some more interesting stuff here. They're pulling in logos, pulling in social proof, really getting you interested. And then they snap back right into that personal story. And then you know that they're going to keep talking to this guy for a little bit longer. It's kind of documentary style. And again, just think native to the platform. What do other YouTube videos look like? And if you can make something that looks like that, you'll succeed. You're more likely to succeed. So once you have that face, you've decided who's going to be in the video. The first 3 seconds is the most important. And now, once you see this, you will not be able to unsee it. So YouTube is a specific medium where if someone skips your video, you don't have to pay for that view. So you want to do 2 things. First of all, you want to get your target audience to watch the video, obviously. You also want to get people who aren't in your target audience to skip the video. And you want to do that as quickly as possible. So the first 3 seconds, really the first 5 seconds of the video, you need to have some sort of context that allows people to filter whether they are interested or not, whether they want to watch the video and whether it's going to be relevant and valuable to them. And you want it to speak really specifically to the pain points of your target audience. Rule number 2, add value, educate, and entertain. You want to think about YouTube content in general and think about why people are there. And there's really only 2 reasons. One is they're learning something or they want to be entertained. So in an ideal world, you should try to do both those things for people. You should teach them something. They should come away being like, oh yeah, that was a is useful, and make it funny and interesting and informative. So think about what knowledge sphere, what world of information is worth knowing around your product, and start building content around that. I mean, you should be doing that anyway. This is kind of counterintuitive. Longer is better. You want people, once someone decides they want to watch your video, you want to keep them watching for as long as possible. If you can remarket to people based on what percentage of the video they watched, and if someone watches 20 minutes of your ad, you pay the same as if they watched 3 minutes. So make longer videos, and then the way to do that is just to combine a bunch of different ad formats. You probably have a bunch of content lying around, you can smash it together, add CTAs throughout. It doesn't have to be cohesive. It doesn't have to be one beautiful story. Remember, people just don't pay that much attention. And leverage website screen recordings. It's really effective. So this is God, this ad is so good. This is a Dr. Squatch mashup. And what you should just watch this just to learn about it. But what I'll show you is if you skip through the video, you'll see there's like 7 different ads slammed together. See, like already you can hear like the voiceover isn't accurate. Like things change so quickly. This is a UGC mashup ad they made for something else. Completely different ad. And there's about 5 different ads in here. They jump back to the UGC mashup later. They go all over the place. It's not super cohesive. It doesn't necessarily have a clear narrative because they're just using 5 different ads worth of stuff. And you can see here, like this is from their first ad, this is from UGC. But what it does is it keeps you watching and it gives you enough content to make a 5-minute ad without going crazy. Rule number 4. You will not be able to accurately attribute what you're doing. It's very, very difficult in the platform. So you're going to be pulling your hair out trying to figure out if it works. You should be using a post-purchase survey on your store anyway in this environment. There's just really no excuse not to do it. So I wouldn't consider, you need to install that before you start running YouTube. Inquire Labs is the one that we use. Matt is great. And that's going to give you a really good sense of, okay, how many of your users are saying that they came from YouTube? How effective is it as an attribution source? It's going to help you measure your top of funnel. There's controversy around view-through conversions. So these are conversions where someone viewed a video but did not click. Now, I used to be very strict about not including these, but having spoken to a few other YouTube managers who've really scaled on the platform, my new feeling is that take your cold acquisition campaigns and really exclude everything, just hyper top of funnel. So only people who've never engaged with the brand before. If those people view a video and then convert within 30 days or within 7 days, that's a conversion. Those people did not know the brand previously. You want to measure your branded search lift because you will see a lift the second you start running YouTube, and use it as a proxy for engagement. There'll be a lot of people who click and then convert. And you want to run lead gen potentially out of a separate account. There's often value there in collecting email addresses, but make sure you don't mess up the algorithm by running it out of your conversion account. Rule number 5, very important to use landing pages and offers. So bring traffic to somewhere that is going to really convert for you. Remember that you are trying to scale on a new platform. So what you want to do is dial in that conversion rate, really crank it up. It's going to give you the highest chance of success. You can also use that landing page elsewhere. And here's a good example. This is not a super interesting video. It's an ad I saw. It's just a guy talking about his beard for like 11 minutes. This is probably working great because it's very native to the platform. It has nice close-ups. It's a guy talking to the camera. He's showing all the products about this subscription box. And then when I clicked through, I saw this glorious landing page, this beautiful product category landing page, which you very rarely see a good one, how it works. All of the value of the product. Oh, it's so good. Nice close-up photos, all of these check marks. Like this, if you're going to drop someone on a category landing page, do it like this. It's very, very easy to make a purchase, 2,000 reviews, like so credible and great. So I'm going to show you a case study from my client. So we were able to scale this client from about 80K a month in revenue to a little bit over $1 million a month in revenue in 4 months at a very, very comfortable 2.5. So this immediately led to an acquisition, or not immediately, but very quickly led to an acquisition. And I mean, this is a headline that anyone would like to see. It's innovative products and strong revenue growth that made trophy skin attractive for potential inquirers. So we did it very simply. We just followed the rules that I set out before. The creative is made from YouTube content. It cost literally $0. Someone made this for me as a favor, and I would say it's not perfect. It's fine. And I think this is one thing that's really important is marketing is never in a vacuum, right? You're always just working with the assets that you have. This worked really, really well. And I'll show you why. See why that works. There's a strong hook, blown away by the gunk. There's that gross image, blown away by the difference. Hooks and qualifiers, it's very clear who's interested. And then the rest of the video is just user-generated content mashups. We put these value props on screen. It's only 45 seconds. We didn't have that much footage, but it worked like gangbusters. So it went absolutely crazy. Why it worked, one of the main reasons it worked is because we went all out and we made this really nice landing page that is very simple. We thought a lot about the target audience and how we can clearly communicate with them. And we then leveraged that landing page on every platform. So if someone saw this YouTube ad, they would then see a search ad. They go to search for trophy skin. They see a search ad, which is going to that landing page. They see a shopping ad, which is also going to that landing page. So really, like, no matter what you do, if you see this video, you're coming to this page eventually. So controlling that experience was able to make a really significant difference to ROI and give us the room that we needed to scale up. So think about it as an entire funnel and not just one ad, and you're much more likely to be successful. So now coming to the end, I want to show you how to apply this in your business. First of all, you're going to need to test. It does take some testing to get YouTube to work. If you want to increase your success rate, double your failure rate. So start iterating now. The creative is the most important thing, and it needs to come first. We mostly see success here when the brand and the agency are able to work together and brainstorm things that are feasible, cheap, funny, engaging, relevant to the brand. You need to get some juices flowing and get some real ideas flowing. Otherwise, it's probably not going to work. It needs that specialness that comes from the brand. Once you've got the creative, you should spend 60% of the energy there. Let's think about how you can leverage Q4 especially. So you're all running offers, right? Everyone's running a good, solid, clear offer that doesn't have super annoying tiered discounts, just a big percentage off. So you can speak to that offer in your ad and start running it as early as possible. You're going to want to make sure you have your video viewer audiences in your Google Ads account. You want to be able to remarket to everyone who watches the video. And just know that this takes time to scale. And we see success in Q4 from people who start earlier and who don't count their chickens. There will be a big period of time in October where people start browsing and not buying. And you just need to know that those people are going to come back and make sure you're capturing information, building your remarketing audiences, and just have trust that it's going to work if your offer is compelling enough. After you do that, do remarketing next. So test into remarketing, and you should see some conversions. So this is the easiest way to get a sense of, okay, is this account going to work? That should work. It's a very easy way to start testing. And then here's some relatively technical detail on how to start your acquisition efforts. You're going to want to test a bunch of different audiences using these specific bidding methods. What I would do is just, if you're running this on your own, just come back and screenshot this later. But if you're not, I would probably work with a media buyer on actually running this ad. It does take a little bit of expertise, and it's a different skill set to running normal Google ads. A lot of agencies don't necessarily know how to do it very well. Then on our way out here, I just wanted to show you how to build a swipe file. If you go on YouTube and you see an ad you like, you can right click it, press stats for nerds, and you have to just write out this video ID. Just copy it out somewhere and then write it down and then add it to the URL. That will allow you to save the video. A lot of people have a hard time capturing the content they see on YouTube, and that means you can't practice. You can't learn and see anything. So I would use that. Start now. If you want to see Q4 success, this is going to take longer than you think. You need to be able to dedicate about $5,000 of spend in testing, and probably want to put about 10 grand into creative. It's going to take a little while to see real success, but once you get that success, you just dial it up. It's crazy. It's much more scalable than a lot of other platforms. It feels like early days of media buying. So here's what you want to do. Here's the rough timeline. Start with creative planning, work through production, test, iterate, and scale into Black Friday. So that's it. I'd love to take questions about how you can get this to work for you and have a very, very productive and successful Q4.
Thank you, Tim. That was incredible. So I liked your rules. So face of the video, hook for the first 3 seconds, edutainment, which is quite good, and then you talked about attribution. And your case study on trophy skiing it's incredible. 80 to 1.2 a month. Okay. So thank you for doing that. I do have a question around ad fatigue. So typically, on average, what is the ad lifespan on YouTube you're seeing, or your agency? Do you measure it from an impression standpoint, or time, or audience size? When do you just make that call to switch up?
It's a really, really good question, and we definitely saw that. We saw that with Trophy about 6 months in, which was a long period of time. It did die. It literally just died one day. We just woke up and like, oh, it's not working anymore. That's a bummer. Right. But you have to plan for that. You need to, by about 3 months into that, you need to build some new creative. You need to be already starting to iterate. And I mean, Dr. Squatch, just look at Dr. Squatch. They do a really, really good job of that. What I would say is you have more time than you expect on YouTube. They're large audiences. There's large pockets of audiences, and you can kind of build a little bit of a land and expand strategy and go work through different audiences. So if you have an audience that is very cost effective for you, that you're able to convert cheaply, you might, for instance, how I would start is by running to a smaller constrained demographic, a demographic you know to be very high converting. If that works and you get a little bit of scale out of that, you get some time, you then open it up to a new demographic. You tweak it a little bit, you add a new campaign on another demo or another audience, and that's going to give you a little more leg room. That I would say figuring out the ad fatigue question is one of the most important parts of a skilled media buyer in YouTube ads, because there are many strategies to mitigate it, and you need someone who's going to look in there on a regular basis, kind of check the vital signs and make sure it's okay. But I would say you get more time than you would expect. There are a lot of eyeballs on this platform.
Right. Makes a lot of sense. The other question I had was, obviously there was a massive, it was almost like a major attack in the Facebook advertising, space with iOS 14. This IDFA update from Apple has affected all apps, but no one's really talking about YouTube on iOS. Have you are you experiencing the same data loss as your Facebook media ad colleagues are?
Yeah, I mean, look, the data loss is going to be across the network, and you're absolutely right that no one's talking about this on Google. Everyone's talking about it like a Facebook phenomenon, but we have seen a little bit of data loss. I will say it doesn't seem as extreme. There's something about Facebook that really does seem like the ability to run media has been really tampered. But as Google buyers, we've been used to getting conversions a day late. We've been doing that for years. It's a slower channel. It's a slower moving channel. We know that attribution's already kind of broken on YouTube, so there's no change there. And you're also using a lot of Google's own proprietary owned signals, right? So you're buying ads for custom intent audiences, which might be people who've searched Google within the last week, or video viewer. Google knows what other videos you're watching, so it can use them to recommend ads to you. Google actually has a real advantage in this situation. It has a lot of data, and so they're doing a pretty good job of getting around it. I mean, everyone's seen a difference, right? But it's about leveraging what you can to succeed.
I think Facebook's biggest mistake was not successfully getting their phone.
Yes, exactly. It's exactly what I say that all the time. If Facebook, all this would be solved if Facebook built a phone, but they can't build products.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Tim, absolute pleasure. I'm sure folks down are, commenting with questions, so feel free to answer them. Appreciate it, as always. Incredible, deck, and thank you for coming on Commerce to Sell.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Cheers.